Okay, let's deep dive into Matthew, specifically chapter 27.
Right. This part of the account, it follows Jesus' arrest and trials.
Yeah, and it details those really pivotal moments, leading up to and then right after his crucifixion.
It's a chapter absolutely packed with dramatic events and some incredibly striking characters, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. So our mission, as always in these deep dives, is to really unpack it, pull out the key moments, the details.
And try to understand what the specific account is telling us happened.
Exactly. And it kicks off right away, doesn't it? Early in the morning.
We read that the chief priests and the elders, they make their final decision.
To put Jesus to death. That's the plan.
So the text says they bound him, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate, the governor.
And right there, the focus shifts for a moment to Judas.
Yeah, the one who betrayed him. It says when Judas saw Jesus was condemned, he was seized with remorse.
It sounds like more than just regret, like a really deep guilt.
It does, and Matthew tells us he actually tried to undo it, in a way. He returned the 30 silver coins.
Right back to the chief priests and the elders.
And he says to them, I have sinned, he says, for I have betrayed innocent blood. Pretty direct.
And their reply is just ice cold, isn't it?
Completely. What is that to us? That's your responsibility.
Wow. Just washes their hands of it. So Judas, what does he do then?
Well, the account says he threw the money down in the temple, left, and then he went and hanged himself.
A really dark end.
Truly tragic. But the story of that money, the 30 coins, it actually keeps going.
Oh, right, yeah. The chief priests pick them up.
But they have this immediate problem. They decide it's against their rules to put it in the temple treasury.
Why? Because it's
Blood money. That's the term they use. Money paid for someone's life.
So it's tainted. They can't use it for sacred purposes.
Exactly. So they confer and decide to use it to buy the potter's field.
The potter's field, okay. And what's that for?
The text specifies it's to be a burial place for foreigners.
Interesting. And because of how it was bought.
It gets a name that sticks, the Field of Blood. And Matthew notes that's what it's called to this day.
So the origin of the name is directly linked to Judas's payment.
Yes, and Matthew makes another connection here very explicitly.
The prophecy.
Right. He states that fulfilled what was spoken through the prophet Jeremiah about taking the 30 silver coins
The price set on him by the people of Israel.
and using them to buy the potter's field as the Lord commanded me. It's a very specific link being drawn.
It really is. Okay, so let's get back to Jesus then. He's standing before Pilate.
The Roman governor, and Pilate puts the question to him straight up. Are you the king of the Jews?
And Jesus' answer.
It's recorded as, yes, it is, as you say, or sometimes translated, you have said so. Affirmative, but maybe a bit reserved.
But then when the accusations start flying from the chief priests and elders,
He says nothing, completely silent.
Pilate even points it out, like, don't you hear all this stuff they're saying?
But no reply, not to a single charge.
And Pilate's reaction to this.
The text says he was filled with great amazement, clearly wasn't expecting the silence.
Okay, so then the situation shifts again. It becomes more public, right, with the crowd.
Yeah, the account explains this custom Pilate had during the Passover feast.
To release one prisoner, whomever the crowd chose.
Exactly. And it just so happens they have this notorious prisoner available named Barabbas.
Notorious. So likely known for some serious crimes.
Probably. So Pilate puts the choice to the crowd that's gathered.
He asks them, okay, who do you want, Barabbas or Jesus, who is called Christ?
And we get this little insight into Pilate's own thoughts here. The text says he knew the chief priests had handed Jesus over out of envy.
So he likely saw through their motives, at least partly.
Seems that way. And then while all this is happening, while Pilate's on the judge's seat
He gets a message.
from his wife, and it's quite a warning.
What'd you say?
Don't have anything to do with that innocent man, she warns him, for I have suffered a great deal today in a dream because of him.
Wow, a dream warning. That adds another layer of drama.
It certainly does. But despite that personal warning,
The chief priests and elders are out there, working the crowd.
persuading them, the text says, to ask for Barabbas and to demand Jesus be executed.
So Pilate asks again, just to be sure.
Which of the two do you want me to release?
And the crowd.
Barabbas. Loud and clear.
Okay, so if Barabbas is released, Pilate asks the logical next question. What should I do then with Jesus, who is called Christ?
And the response is immediate and brutal. Crucify him.
Just like that. Does Pilate push back at all?
He tries. He asks why. What crime has he committed? trying to get a reason out of them.
But they weren't interested in reason at that point, were they?
Not according to this account. They just shouted louder, "Crucify him!"
So Pilate sees it's hopeless, he's getting nowhere, and things are getting chaotic, maybe even dangerous. An uproar starting.
Right, and that's when he does that famous symbolic act.
The hand washing.
Takes water, washes his hands right there in front of everyone.
And declare.
"I am innocent of this man's blood. It is your responsibility." Trying to publicly distance himself.
But the people's answer.
Right.
It's one of the most disturbing lines.
It really is. "Let his blood be on us and on our children," taking full responsibility, even invoking future generations.
Chilling.
Yeah.
And the outcome is sealed then.
Yes. Pilate releases Barabbas. Then he has Jesus flogged.
Which was a horrific punishment in itself, the scourge.
Absolutely brutal. And after that, he hands him over to the soldiers to be crucified.
So now it's the soldiers' turn. They take him into the praetorium.
Which is like the governor's headquarters or palace. And they gather the whole company, the cohort around him.
And this is where the intense mockery happens.
Yeah. It's described in detail. They strip him, put a scarlet robe on him, a mock royal color.
With some thorns into a sort of crown, put it on his head.
Put a staff like a reed in his hand as a mock scepter.
And then they start bowing down, pretending to honor him.
Kneeling, yeah. Saying, "Hail, King of the Jews." Pure sarcasm.
And it gets physical, too.
It does. They spit on him, take the staff back, and hit him on the head with it. Repeatedly.
Just a layer upon layer of humiliation and pain.
It's depicted as incredibly cruel after they've had their fill of mocking him.
They take the robe off, put his own clothes back on,
and lead him away towards the crucifixion site.
And on the way out of the city, they run into someone.
Yes, a man named Simon from Cyrene in North Africa.
And what happens with Simon?
The soldiers compel him, force him to carry the cross. Presumably, Jesus was too weakened by the flogging and abuse.
Right, so Simon carries the cross at least part of the way.
And they finally arrive at the place, Golgotha.
The text tells us what that means, doesn't it?
It does. The place of the skull. A grim name.
And there, before the crucifixion itself, they offer him something.
Wine mixed with gall. Some sort of bitter anesthetic, perhaps.
But he refuses it.
He tastes it, the text says, but then refuses to drink it.
Okay.
And then...
Then they crucify him.
Just stated like that. Stark.
Very. And after they've done that, the soldiers deal with his clothes. They divide them up. How?
By casting lots. Gambling for his garments right there at the foot of the cross.
And then they just sit down and watch him.
Keep watch over him, yeah. Standard procedure, maybe? Or just part of the spectacle.
And above his head, there's the charge against him. The official reason.
Yes, a sign. And Matthew gives the exact text written on it.
What does it say?
"This is Jesus, the King of the Jews." Pilate's inscription, essentially.
And he's not crucified alone.
No, the account mentions 2 robbers, or revolutionaries perhaps, crucified with him.
One on his right, one on his left.
Exactly. And as he's hanging there, people start reacting. Passers-by.
What do?
They hurl insults, shake their heads, mock him.
Saying things like,
"You who are going to destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself. Come down from the cross if you are the Son of God." Throwing his own words or claims back at him.
And it wasn't just random people. The religious leaders join in too.
Oh, yes. The chief priests, the teachers of the law, the elders, they're all there mocking him.
And their words are particularly cruel.
They are. Things like, "He saved others, but he can't save himself."
He's the King of Israel. Let him come down now from the cross, and we will believe in him.
They even mock his faith. He trusts in God. Let God rescue him now if he wants him, for he said, "I am the Son of God." Just relentless verbal abuse.
And incredibly, the text says even the robbers crucified with him.
They also joined in heaping insults on him. It seems like universal scorn at that point.
Then something happens with the environment itself.
Yes, a very striking detail. From the 6th hour, which is about noon,
until the 9th hour, about 3 p.m.
darkness falls over the whole land. A profound, unnatural darkness for 3 hours.
And then around that 9th hour, 3 p.m.
Jesus cries out in a loud voice. The text gives the words in Aramaic.
Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani.
And provides the translation immediately. My God, why have you forsaken me?"
A cry of deep anguish. How do people react to that?
Some of the bystanders misunderstand it. They think he's calling for Elijah, the prophet.
Oh, right. Because Eloi sounds a bit like Elijah, maybe.
Possibly. And one man reacts quickly, runs, gets a sponge.
Fills it with wine vinegar, sour wine, puts it on a stick.
And offers it up to Jesus to drink, maybe out of pity or maybe just prolonging things?
But others tell him to stop.
Yeah, they say, now leave him alone. Let's see if Elijah comes to save him. Still focused on that possible misunderstanding.
And what happens next?
Jesus cries out again, another loud cry. The text doesn't record the words this time.
And
He yields up his spirit. He dies.
at that very moment of death,
A series of, well, extraordinary events are reported.
like the curtain in the temple.
Yes, the massive curtain separating the holy place from the most holy place. It's torn in two from top to bottom.
Symbolically significant, opening up access, perhaps. What else?
The earth shakes. Rocks split apart. An earthquake, basically.
And something even more dramatic involving the dead.
The tombs break open, and the bodies of many holy people who had died were raised to life.
Raised to life right then.
Well, the text adds a crucial clarification here. It says they came out of the tombs after Jesus' resurrection.
Ah, okay. So the tombs open at his death, but the coming back to life and appearing happens later.
Right. After his resurrection, they went into Jerusalem, the holy city, and appeared to many people. It's quite a statement.
Absolutely. Now, how do the Roman soldiers react to all this? The ones guarding him.
The centurion, the officer in charge, and his men seeing the earthquake and everything else that happened.
They must have been terrified.
The text says they were terrified, and the centurion makes this declaration.
What does he say?
Surely he was the Son of God. Or perhaps a Son of God. A significant confession from a Roman soldier.
And there were others watching too, weren't there? From a distance.
Yes, many women. The account emphasizes they had followed Jesus all the way from Galilee.
And they had been caring for his needs, supporting his ministry.
Exactly. And some are named specifically.
Like Mary Magdalene.
Mary, the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of Zebedee's sons, James and John. Loyal followers, witnessing these final moments.
Okay, so Jesus has died. What happens with his body?
As evening approaches, a new character enters the scene. Joseph, from Arimathea.
He's described as a rich man.
And also, importantly, as someone who had himself become a disciple of Jesus. Maybe secretly, maybe openly by this point.
And he takes a bold step.
He goes directly to Pilate and asks for Jesus's body, which was a brave thing to do, asking for the body of an executed criminal.
And Pilate agrees.
Yes, Pilate orders the body to be released to Joseph.
So Joseph takes the body down from the cross.
Wraps it reverently in clean linen cloth, preparing it properly for burial.
And where does he put it?
In his own new tomb, one that he had recently cut out of the rock. So a fresh, unused tomb.
And he seals it.
Rolls a large stone across the entrance to secure it.
Are there witnesses to this burial?
Yes. The text specifically mentions Mary Magdalene and the other Mary were sitting there opposite the tomb watching.
So the burial seems final, the tomb sealed. But the chapter isn't quite over yet, is it?
No, there's one more scene. It takes place the next day.
Which is described carefully as the day after preparation day. So the Sabbath.
Right. And a group goes back to Pilate.
Who goes this time?
The chief priests and the Pharisees, the religious leadership again.
And they address Pilate respectfully, sir.
Right.
But they have a specific concern.
Very specific. They say, "Sir, we remember that while he was still alive, that deceiver said, 'After 3 days, I will rise again.'"
They actually quote his prediction, even while calling him a deceiver.
Exactly. And based on that memory, they make a request.
So the tomb's secured.
Yes. Give the order for the tomb to be made secure until the 3rd day.
And they explain why they're worried. What's their fear?
They spell it out. Otherwise, his disciples may come and steal the body and tell the people that he has been raised from the dead.
And they think that would be bad.
Worse than the original situation, they claim. This last deception will be worse than the first.
So how does Pilate respond to this unusual request?
He basically tells them to handle it themselves, but gives them authority. Take a guard, he says. Or maybe you have a guard. It's a bit ambiguous. Go, make the tomb as secure as you know how.
Giving them permission and perhaps resources.
Seems so. And they do it. They go to the tomb.
And the chapter ends with them making it secure. How?
By putting an official seal on the stone covering the entrance and by posting the guard. Taking serious precautions.
Wow. This chapter just covers so much ground, doesn't it? It moves incredibly fast.
It really does. From Judas's despair and death through that intense scene with Pilate and the crowd.
The horrifying mockery, the crucifixion itself with all the details surrounding it.
The signs at his death, the reactions, the burial, and then this final act by the leaders to guard the tomb. It's relentless.
And you see so many different individuals and groups playing their parts, reacting in different ways.
Absolutely. Judas, the priests, the elders, Pilate, his wife, the huge crowd, the Roman soldiers, Simon from Cyrene, random passersby, the robbers, the centurion, the women disciples, Joseph of Arimathea, the Pharisees. It's a wide cast.
And that final scene with the chief priests and Pharisees going back to Pilate the day after, it's really striking, isn't it?
It really is. They explicitly bring up Jesus' own prediction about rising after 3 days. They call him that deceiver yet.
Yet they go to all this trouble getting a guard, sealing the stone.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It does. Considering the lengths they went to, what does this chapter, especially that ending, suggest about their own state of mind? How seriously were they taking the possibility, or at least the potential claim, of his resurrection, even as they tried to prevent it? It seems like they were certainly anticipating something.